Hey guys, Lord Nick here bringing you another League of Legends related video. In this video I wanted to give you guys a quick guide to Jhin. Now Jhin is probably one of my favorite ADCs, and that is kind of why I'm bringing you such a quick video to him. But this is just going to be a small guide to him. It's not going to be fully in-depth like I'd like to do fully on Jhin. If you wish for a full in-depth guide on Jhin, please talk to me later or leave a comment and let me know that. So with Jhin specifically, he's a lot different than most ADCs, as he is a quality ADC over a quantity ADC. And what I mean by that is most ADCs like to just get in a crap ton of autos that each do decent damage, but they chunk over time. Jhin, on the other hand, likes to just chunk you for 4 shots, because he has an obsession with the number 4, and he is an artist, so you just wouldn't understand, guys. But he is easily one of the oddest mechanically because of this, because his damage typing is much closer to a mage and or an assassin opposed to an ADC. But because of this, I feel like he just has a unique brand to himself, because of his positioning, his ability to be super mobile based off of his passive, opposed to the fact that he has, instead of having OP dashes and stuff like that. I feel like Riot really hit it out of the park by just the way they designed him. I love him. He's close to my heart. Whatever. Let's get to the actual video, though. So first up, we're going to be talking about his passive. Jhin, like I said, has an obsession with the number 4. He only has 4 autos. Haha. And then he has to reload for good amount of time. The reload goes down as you level up. It does not go down as you do attack speed like it does on Graves. But because of that, they do still want to encourage you to buy attack speed at some point. So to increase that encouragement, the way Riot does it is that he gains extra attack damage based off of a scaling percentage that goes up, but at max range starts at 44% base plus a decent chunk coming from your crit chance and a decent chunk coming from your attack speed. More of the damage comes from your crit chance than attack speed, so build more crit than attack speed, but if you build a lot of attack speed, the bonus to it is the fact that you go really, really fast when you crit, because Jhin does 25% less damage when he crits. But instead, they then gave him 10% plus a percentage based off the amount of attack speed that you've built over time. And you gain that for 2 seconds. You get to run really, really fast, which allows you to kite really simply and really easily with him. Now, Jhin, on his first 3 attacks, just goes off of normal damaging. Like I said, his damage is slightly reduced due to his passive, but on the 4th shot, he does 200% damage, and also, or not 200%, that's his ultimate, sorry. He does 25% of the target's missing health on his 4th bullet. This is a massive bump in damage that he does. And the lower they are, the bigger the execute. So overall, that's just kind of basically just kind of want to kite around with his four shots a lot in the late game. In the early game, what you generally want to do is farm with his first 3, and then you just kind of hold on to his 4th shot and just hover around threatening your opponent for a while, because it's a big chunk of damage they don't want to be taking. Abilities will reset the clock on whatever shot you are currently on, so whatever clock you are currently on will just still sit there as long as you're throwing abilities out. So next up, we're going to talk about his Dancing Grenade, which is another one of his abilities that he loves the number 4 in. You throw out a grenade, it bounces to 4 targets. Every target it kills increases the damage it does to the next target, so on and so forth. Maxing out at and at max level, this will be 35% increased damage per bounce. This is a pretty good chunking tool early on. If you can get a triple bounce and then hit an opponent, my goodness, the damage you will inflict, and people will hate you. But that's it. It's a pretty simple one. You can't really control it. You just kind of throw it in a general direction, and it will bounce to whatever targets it deems is the closest and the next valuable one. It has a decent range to hop between the two, and once it is locked onto you, nothing you will do will get rid of it except for maybe Azonia's. So, I mean, later in the game they can kind of deter it a little bit, but as early on, it's really just a good one. If it locks onto them, it's a good chunk of damage. You just know that's going to happen. So your W is going to be Deadly Flourish. Deadly Flourish is a really awesome ability, as it just shoots out this giant line. Now, what that giant line is going to be whenever you mark somebody. And marking people is any ability by you, any damage you do, or just throwing your E on somebody will also mark them. And then you can throw your W out, hit somebody, and snare them in place. If you do snare them, it gets created as if you crit them, and it procs your passive's movement speed. It's a really nice little added thing. I don't really often use it for that. I really just use it for, like, if I'm chasing somebody, I'll throw it out there and it snares them and speeds you up. So it's a really good chase tool for that. It also has a really nice range, so you can affect a fight that you're nowhere near, just to help out some teammates. Pretty useful ability, pretty straightforward on how it goes, though. Your E is a trap that you place down. If somebody were to walk over this, it flourishes. Bam, looky there, and then slows whoever is in it. If it explodes for a decent chunk of damage on the person, and I believe it does more damage based off of their missing health as well, or something like that. It does 65% damage on subsequent hits, and let's see, versus minions and monsters. Prepare a new trap, blah, 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 blah. And every time somebody dies, one of your traps actually goes off under somebody. So that's really useful, as it will set up traps that will kind of just sneak under an opponent, and if your opponents aren't careful in dodging it, it just does a crap ton of damage to them, which is really, really nice. It feels really good, and it's just really fun. Anyhow, his last ability is his ultimate. His ultimate is pretty straightforward. Curtain call. You go up into this giant cone here, and you just start shooting shots out. Yet again, the number 4 appears, and you only get 4 shots with it. The 4th one culminating in a 200% crit on the damage. And for every 1% of health they are missing, the damage goes up by 2.5%. That's for every shot. That's not just his 4th shot, like on his passive. It's every shot. So it's a really good finisher tool. It's also a decent engage tool, as you also slow people whenever you hit them with it. They become slowed by every bullet hit. The last one there is distinguished as it is just a higher, deadlier bullet. That's really just it, guys. That's my basic guide to Jhin in terms of just how his mechanics work. In terms of runes and items, it's pretty straightforward with him in terms of itemization. You want to get a Storm Razor early. You want to go into a Rapid Fire. You want to get an IE right after that. You also want a Swifties in there somewhere, because most of the time you want Swifties. You can change your boots. Your boots are always going to be situational no matter what champion you play. But with Jhin, the basic boots you really want to go with is Swifties, because they give you better movement speed, and then slows are really shit on you. Which is great, because when he gets faster and he crits, you're just going to be moving hella fast. I generally also go with 2 defensive items on him of GA and Mercurial Scimitar, and the reason I go both of these items usually on Jhin is just because the meta is so volatile for him right now. Jhin is still relatively strong. He can definitely hard carry a game. Getting to that hard carry potential can be very difficult, though, right now, as the meta is very much shaped up to bruisers and assassins, who both hard counter the crap out of Jhin. Super mobile champions can run him down all day, which is hard for him to deal with. He's very good against tank metas and just immobile metas in general. So what you're going to want to do is, in those metas, you want to just get multiple defensive items. You can also switch it out at some point if you wanted to go triple crit. What I would recommend is you get the Rapid Fire early, and then you can get like a Phantom Dancer as one of these items here instead. And then you can either go with the other item, which is my preferred ones to do, or you can do it with Death Stance as well. He does really well with Death Stance as well. Getting extra cooldown reduction in the late game, because your abilities are still pretty useful as the game goes on. And just preventing burst is just overall really good on him. Because the longer you stay in a fight, the more damage you get to output. Because even though he doesn't like being a quantity-based auto attacker, he is also just very good as the longer the fight goes on, because he is such a quality hitter that if it goes on very long, he gets to just get in a lot of massive amounts of damage. Other than that, your rune pages can be quite a few different rune pages right now. He has actually quite a few that are really good on him. Of course, he synergizes really well with Dark Harvest, as he has a lot of abilities that can proc it and with very long range. He also has very high damaging autos, which allow you to proc it more often as well. But you can also go like Grasp of the Undying. I've tried out on him quite a bit, and it's a very good defensive tool for him. If you think that you are going to do well in the lane, but you still want to kind of be ready to in the laning phase to be able to go defensive in case you mistrade and start losing the lane slightly, Grasp is a really good choice. He's also good with fleet footwork, because more movement speed is not ever bad on him. So, and healing is always nice. The last big one I'm going to mention really is going to be Arcane Comet. It's just a really good rune on him, as he has a lot of long-range poke. So you can just get somebody from a distance, and if you snare somebody and you get them with a comet in the late game, it's just going to hurt really hard. And then other than that, it's pretty straightforward. You want to kind of just go I always like having at least my secondary being both Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm, because as the game goes longer, Gathering Storm is just really, really good. And then Absolute Focus is probably one of the best runes in the game right now. And then other than that, I always usually try to go double damage, and then I'll usually go armor most of the time, because armor threats are usually the ones I have the most difficulty with. But if you really feel like there's not somebody that's that big of a threat on the enemy team, what you can do is you can just go HP, or if you feel like the support is like a Zyra or Brand and those are going to be the bigger problems in the lane, you can go with some MR as well. Other than that, that is my guide to Jhin. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate every single one of you. Hope this found this video a little bit insightful at bare minimum. If you want more videos like this, just hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment below, and follow the Twitch channel. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.